All right, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily, but also today it's MCU Weekly times DCU Daily on Oh So Curious, so we've got a lot to get into. As always, we have a bunch of stuff from the world of the MCU, the DCU. We're going to get a little bit into the Met Gala that happened yesterday. We didn't want to talk about it yesterday because it was happening while we were doing the show, but today I figured, let's talk about it a little bit. We definitely have to talk about how Mike DeLuca is giving away all of James Gunn's secrets, including Teen Titans, some Superman stuff. We'll talk about both of those things. Is Clayface getting rewritten already? I mean, it was a Mike Flanagan script. What's wrong with it? We'll talk about that. Of course, there's the stuff going on with all the marketing around the new Avengers, formerly known as the Thunderbolts. But maybe the movie name will not change after all. I mean, we'll talk about that too. There's updates on what those movie tariffs may or may not look like. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, we have brought this up I think a week or 2 weeks ago, and we're delivering on the promise. Today is Tuesday. So if you're watching live, get ready for Tier List Tuesdays. We'll be doing that actually as a game, and you guys can get involved in it while we do it, and then you can send us your tier list because John and I will give you ours on the show, and then we'll share with you the tier list template, and you can send us your picks. So to do that and so much more, I'm gonna bring on in the news intro, and we're gonna let Ryan Gosling take it away.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see corns.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I completely buried the headline on that intro because the biggest news today might be the new GTA 6 trailer, and we will definitely be talking about that too. So to do that and so much more with me, I've got John. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Kind of a shitty day. Rainy, sad, not great. But I did some good. I got stuff done today, so it wasn't all bad. But it's just, okay. I know it can't rain all the time, but it's still a little sad sometimes.
Yeah, it's rainy weather all week this week, unfortunately. So we're all just having to, well, at least in the Northeast, that is. We've already got TC24 and Monique. Monique was first in the chat, so welcome on in, everybody. If you are here, drop on in the chat. TC24 saying John is so soft. Shake my head. Well, John is a softie, and we're okay with that. But you know what? GTA 6 is not a softie because they dropped a trailer today, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I would not describe as soft. So John, you saw the trailer. Of course, it's got all the signature elements of a GTA game. We have a lot of details now beyond just the trailer itself. We have details about what map locations there will be, and we'll talk about that. Obviously, we have a release date for 2026, May of 2026, so we'll get into that as well. That part of it is not news. We got that a few days ago, John, but you saw the trailer for GTA 6, so what did you think about it?
It was certainly a trailer. I mean, I play GTA Online with friends. That's probably the extent of my GTA. I've never played any of the other games. GTA Online can be very fun, but it's kind of exhausting at the same time. But it was an okay trailer. It promises on all the stuff that you would see in a GTA game. But it's just GTA is one of those franchises that's I don't know, it feels like it just offers the same sort of thing over and over again. It's kind of cool that they're doing a couple. So all right, that's kind of unique, I guess. But at the same time, it's okay, you're doing crime, you're doing blow, you got the guns, you got the missions, you got all the same shit over and over again, but with a new coat of paint. So people love it. I mean, but here I am. I'm still waiting on that Bully sequel they canceled fucking 12 years ago. So, that's just me, because Bully will always be superior to GTA. I will die on that hill, but that's just me.
What was it? What was the movie reference that you just stuck in there for a little bit? Did you say what they're doing? What are they doing? Was it Blow? Was that the
like cocaine?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they fucking do drugs and shit in the fucking
cool. I say movie reference because anyway, never mind. You get it. Right, dude, saying the trailer looks awesome. I wonder if you have a cheat code and you can like go and like, hop on a plane or something. Like that was fun in the old games. But right, dude, continuing to say, however, the game I am certain will be over 100 million. Well, no, over $100, I'm sure, at minimal. Although it's gonna make more than $100 million, I'm sure. Because we'll all be paying over $100 for it, like Right Dude said. Yeah, I mean, the graphics look great. This is the end of the trailer. They say it was captured on PS5, so these are the PS5 graphics. I mean, how it will look on Xbox, I'm sure the current gen Xbox was Xbox. I forget what generation Xboxes are on it. Too many of them, but I'm sure it's gonna look great on there too. And if you have the PS4, maybe a little bit of a downgrade. By the way, we have Right Dude in the chat, as I mentioned earlier, with his comment. Man of Steel is here. Man of Steel Magnolias, of course. And Morkatna just dropped in. So hello, Morkatna, to you as well. Right Dude saying a Bully sequel would be awesome. Well, right now we're talking about the GTA sequel, the GTA 6. And to me, the best part about this trailer was the idea of like they're doing a whole couple thing. So obviously that seems like that's part of like the story element of the game. But I do wonder, like, do you think they'll have a local co-op play mode for this? Because it's been such a long time. What was it like? Wasn't it San Andreas was the last one where you could do a local multiplayer in GTA and you could like do a 2-player mode? I remember that as being something unique, because it's like you want to do all those things maybe with but like in a party mode, like the Nintendo games, like you couldn't do that with any other GTA game. You would have to like obviously go online and play in a multiplayer mode that way. So I know that that's something I've been looking forward to potentially in this game. So we'll have to just see. Right Dude following up on his comments saying game prices are increasing. Even Nintendo is doing that. And this is one of the most anticipated games of the decade. So it will be expensive to play the game. Yes.
Oh yeah, this thing's gonna like fucking cost like $200 at launch.
Yeah. There's gonna be versions where they'll sell it to you for like 150, 200 because they're gonna want to have you like get some extras alongside of, whether it's some kind of like packages, like extra, I don't know, skins or whatever the GTA equivalent of like, extras are. And yeah, then there's DLCs and stuff. So obviously over the lifetime of the game, you'll end up spending a decent amount of money. Elite Easy and Ron are in the chat as well. Hello guys. But I think for most people who love the franchise, have been waiting as long as they have, they're still gonna go and spend the money. I, for one, remember like when I haven't been buying a ton of games of late because I don't have as much time, but I used to get like 6 or 7. Like I had this selection of games that I would get every year. They have an update, I would get a new version of it. A lot of sports games and stuff, including, and GTA was one of them. But if you guys want to save money, just wait till like Black Friday. I know it comes out next May. If you can wait it out for a few months, then just wait till November and then go get it. It's not going to be like $20, but it's probably going to be cheaper than 100. So, but the trailer looked good. And it showed off a lot of the different locations that the game is going to feature, including even Vice City. So let's kind of quickly talk about that because we have some details on that. So GTA 6 will feature, 6 main map locations. That kind of goes together well there, including Vice City, Leonida Keys. Somebody tell me if that's wrong. Grass Rivers, Port Gellhorn, Ambrosia, Mount Calaga National Park. John, of these 6 locations, which of the ones would you love to spend a lot of time playing?
So, okay. Interesting. I mean, I'm gonna wait like fucking 2 years. I'm gonna wait fucking 2 years until this shit's like actually like decent, like a decent fucking price. But like, it would be cool, like Vice City. They're bringing back Vice City from the game Vice City. But I don't know. Like, I like the yacht thing. I kind of like swampy Florida Like that's like kind of funny. You know, I mean, it makes sense why they're like fucking doing all this, but I remember seeing a meme where it was like the Burj Khalifa took 6 years to make and it cost $1.5 billion. This took 13 years to make and cost approximately $2 billion. So that's an interesting.
I don't know if it cost $2 billion. Did it cost $2 billion?
That's allegedly
that's a
the
hefty
number.
price tag for a video game. Oh my god, damn. I mean, is that really true though? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, but that's what a tweet said, so it's probably bullshit and probably just for a meme. But you know, I like to believe it's true just for the funnies. But that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, at least it won't cost us that much money to buy it. But hey, GTA 6, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about GTA 6. The trailer's out. We know the release date. Hopefully they'll stick with it. I mean, given that they've shown us this trailer, because there was like a previous trailer, it was more or less like a teaser. This is more like, you know, an actual trailer. And like I said, at the end of the trailer, at the bottom, it says captured on PS5. So obviously, you know, this is probably part of the gameplay, like this graphics and the quality of it. There's still like video game look to it, but I mean, it's certainly an improvement over the previous generation. So I'm looking forward to it. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about it. Some of you guys in the live chat already telling us you're going to be waiting till it's on sale to get it. Right, dude saying, hot take, GTA 3 is still my favorite GTA game. Is that San Andreas or is that Vice City? Which one is that? Because I love San Andreas. That's my favorite of all time.
I mean, that's a lot of people's favorite. It was, you know.
Yeah, dude, San Andreas was amazing. The cheat codes. That's the thing. I'm like, where are the cheat codes? Somebody find me the freaking cheat codes. That's what I'm going to be waiting for. But you know what? Let's move on to the next story. We've got a bunch more to talk about today. What is going on with my computer today right now? There we go. All right, let's look for the Met Gala. Okay, so yesterday while we were live on the show, the Met Gala was happening. And so I didn't want to really touch the topic yesterday. We had a lot to talk about anyway. It was the beginning of the week. Mondays are busy. A lot of news happened. And, you know, there was a lot of news. And of course, I was on a bit of a time deadline. And then John had to kind of take over for the Superman news portion of the show. But today, let's look back at the Met Gala and all the stunning looks that stole the headlines. I know, John, that you told me personally that you don't give two shits about this, but I'm gonna just run through some of the looks that impressed the most. You guys let me know in the chat if there's one you want to focus on a little bit, and then John, I'm sure if you have one that you want to comment on, you can stop me and we'll talk about it.
Sure.
But Diana Ross walked in at the very beginning of the blue carpet, and I mean, you know, aging like fine wine, she completely stopped all traffic because what she was wearing took like 6 handlers, I think it was, to like.
This looks like something Emma
out.
Frost would wear unironically.
Yeah, look at this thing. It's like everybody had to stop and just let her have her moment before anybody else could walk out, like Tracy Ellis Ross could walk out and stuff. But I mean, look, Diana Ross just coming back to the blue carpet and just blowing people away, like amazing stuff. So there's that, and then of course there's a bunch of other looks we want to get into as well. There's Bad Bunny, of course, representing Puerto Rico at the red carpet gala, living
up to his name. He's certainly brown.
Looking dapper with the handbag there, the shoes, love it, the gloves, very on point. Is that Dwayne Wade?
Bad Brown Bunny. There you go.
I feel like that's Dwayne Wade behind him. Yes, Elite Easy, I do agree with you. San Andreas is the GOAT game of the GTA franchise. Cynthia Erivo, she was also there, of course, in a crystal embellished corset and tulle skirt by Givenchy. Maybe I got that wrong. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that brand name. She was channeling the Queen of Hearts, of course. She's got Wicked for Good coming out this year, so you know, this is her year. I mean, last year was her year. This is her year. I guess we'll have to see how good and how big Wicked for Good ends up being. But of course, Zendaya was there too. She was rocking a 3-piece power suit designed by Pharrell Williams for Louis Vuitton. John, she of course has having one hell of a career, in fact, because she is not only going to be filming Dune Part 3 this year, she's currently filming The Odyssey. She's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, which is also the Spider-Man 4, but although with a limited role. So from one franchise to the next, Zendaya, you know, as always, looking impressive. So there's that, and then we're gonna get into a few other looks here. Rihanna.
She looks like she belongs at like a like a horse race, like the Kentucky Derby. Like that's like the vibe I'm getting here. You know how they wear those weird fucking pastel.
That's very. I watched the Kentucky Derby. I my horse finished like in 17th, but it is last year it won. Last year the one that I picked won. I picked the same. I picked the horse that had the same trainer as the one last year, but I forget. It was something Dan. It was like something Dan and last. I was like, it's my name. Like so, I picked that horse.
No, who won?
This year Sovereignty won.
Okay.
Yeah, Fiona picked that one. And then Sovereignty won. But Sovereignty is gonna be skipping the Preakness now, so no Triple Crown. So
apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, all the horses descended from like Secretariat or something. Like all the horses in the Kentucky Derby all descended from Secretariat. I'm like, that's
I had no idea.
Crazy.
Dang. I did not know that. That is really crazy. Wow. Okay. Well, good genes then, huh? It was very muddy. It was a rainy, muddy day at the Derby. But hey, Zendaya, Elite Easy, certainly enjoying her look. She can rock a suit like no other. Absolutely. All right. So moving on to the next thing I was mentioning earlier. Nope. We're skipping ahead. We'll get back to Rachel Brosnahan. First, we're gonna talk about Rihanna and her baby bump, John, because baby number 2, she revealed at the Super Bowl. Baby number 3, she announced to the world last night at the gala. So another baby's on the way, and Rihanna made the announcement public.
Very
and she was on the blue carpet, showing off the bump. Yeah, it's a statement making kind of night, and Rihanna knows how to make statements. So there you go. Loved her in Battleship. Anyway, F1 star Damson Idris walked out with quite the look. He first walks out in his F1 driver gear with the helmet on and everything, and then a couple of guys, or like a couple of folks, they're the staff members, pull the whole gear off. It's like the Stig on Top Gear, except like they just rip off the overalls, and underneath that he was wearing quite the suit. I thought that was probably the coolest reveal of the night. And of course, this is all in line with his F1 movie coming out soon. I have a feeling that Damson Idris is going to be much more of a household name after that movie comes out. He took the helmet off. Looked fantastic.
That looks F1. I know I make the jokes. Oh, it's just Days of Thunder, but like it looks really good, and I couldn't give less of a fuck about Formula One, even if I tried. Like it just looks like a good movie. And you know what? I just hope F1 is great. It gets all the buzz and all that shit, and then it could fucking destroy Tron Ares, showing off that, hey, you missed your chance, Disney. Fuck you and your shitty Tron threequel. Look at me, baby. I got that Maverick and F1 money. Anyway.
Yep. By the way, Monique with a great stat on Secretariat, or a fun fact if you want to call it that. Yeah, TC24, that suit is clean as F. We have Caleb in the chat as well, and Dean is here. Dean Classic. To answer your question, Dean, the way we usually format the show, so if you popped in a few minutes ago, I usually talk about at the top of the show, we do the news, which we're doing right now. We get into the quick hits, which is like any news items we don't want to spend too much time on, but we want to kind of mention it because we thought it was funny or interesting anyway. And then after that, we get into some DC news. Usually today we have MCU Weekly, so we're going to talk about a little bit of Marvel. But then we have Tier List Tuesdays, so we're introducing a new segment. So you guys can take part in that with us while we do it. We're going to rank some movies. And then we'll move on to all the DC news. But we do have some DC stuff coming up in the Met Gala. But before we do, there's SRK, one of Liz's favorite Bollywood actors, Shah Rukh Khan, probably one of the highest paid and most popular actors in the world. He's the king of Bollywood. And he showed up to the gala, and he was like, "Look, I went there because I wanted to impress my kids, and now I wish." Now the MTV was like, they hopefully SRK can adopt them. But hey, he's looking amazing. He's got to be in his 60s by now. He's been around for a couple of decades at this point. I grew up with him. But then we had a social media star there, Diljit Dosanjh, and rocking some Punjabi garb. That sword, John, would probably put the one that you had to shame, or at least stands up to it somewhat. The talwar, as they call it, and the turban and the twirling mustache. I love the garb. representing Punjab. So there's that.
Very
And then, of
cool.
course, I kind of skipped ahead to it earlier, but Rachel Brosnahan has been killing it for Superman at every big press event. We are still marveling at the dress that she wore. But was it for CinemaCon? I think it was CinemaCon, right? Like where she was basically wearing the Daily Planet like headlines. But she was at the Met Gala looking mighty fine herself. You know, we talked about Rihanna, we talked about Zendaya, we talked about Diana Ross, but Rachel Brosnahan rocking the purple, very on brand with Superman. So, what did you think about that look?
I mean, it's, you know, it's very simple and it works. I feel like this is like I know, right? It mentions Lois Lane. We're bringing it back to Superman. I get it, but like I feel like this is like something that Lois Lane would wear, like in a discreet sort of like, we have to go to a fancy party kind of thing. And she's like, oh, but it's because it's like this is the stuff I like from the Met Gala when like the shit makes sense, not like Diana Ross's 40-foot fucking train that just looks obnoxious rather than like hot or beautiful or attractive or whatever the wording is. This looks good. It's simple. It's to the point. Has a little bit of extra with the, I don't know what it's going for, like the ribbon around her neck.
Ribbon?
Sash. I don't know what that would
Elite
be called.
Easy thinks something is missing. I think I know what you think is missing, Elite Easy, and we're not going to talk about that. But sorry, John.
But I think that's she balling, and she looks great. And again, rocking the Lois Lane purple.
TC24 is like, call me Clark Kent. Well, I guess you know you'll have to earn that privilege. But we do have Super Blink in the chat as well now, and I mentioned Caleb joined earlier, and Figure Drawing is here. Hello, Figure Drawing, mate. Welcome on in. So yeah, let's keep the ball rolling here. We got a few more looks to get into before we kind of move on to the next thing. Just some of the other best dressed looks. You got Pharrell Williams there, of course, on the right. Coleman Domingo on the left. Kerry Washington in the middle.
Coleman Domingo usually rocks it. Like he usually has.
Like, look at that.
Look, I will say that it's kind of like the zoot suit kind of look, like the 50s. He makes it look good.
You can go to a party. It's which is basically the Met Gala is that. Anyway. Love Coleman Domingo's look. Sorry, I could keep cutting you off there, John. But like Pharrell Williams, of course.
No, you're good.
Zendaya's suit was designed by Pharrell Williams, but he himself was there rocking his own suit, which looked fantastic. I mentioned earlier, Kerry Washington looking beautiful as ever. And Jonathan Simkai, that's the designer for her suit. Kind of see-through on the bottom half there. Then you have Sadie Sink in Prada. Of course, potentially our new Jean Grey. She might be in the new Avengers movies, or certainly in the new X-Men movies after the Avengers movies come out next year and the year after, I suppose. Lala Anthony in Off-White. She's looking great. Let's see who else. Zoe Saldana was there in Tom Brown, looking great. The nice shapewear on the waist there. Sarah Snook, an only child. Interesting stuff. A few other photos. We did have Sydney Sweeney on the blue carpet as well. So there you go. There's Sydney Sweeney right there. I'm sure you guys would love that. I'm sure whatever Rachel Brosnahan was missing Elite Easy, you have found in that outfit that Sydney Sweeney's rocking. So there you go. Enterprising is here unfashionably, because who cares? Oh, cool. I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, we're not at the Met Gala. We were just talking about the Met Gala. But yeah, Sydney Sweeney, of course. I forgot this guy's name, so I apologize. But maybe John can correct. Somebody let me in the chat. He looks very familiar. But
he's Moriarty, Andrew Scott.
Andrew Scott. There we go. Okay, sorry, I was like just blanking on the name. Also blanking on this person's name.
Are you on IMDb right now?
No.
Oh, because usually they pop up. Yeah, no idea who they should have names.
I'm sure somebody could let us know. This is, and of course SRK Shah Rukh Khan is there. Loving the look. Anne Hathaway looking amazing.
Again, very nice, very simple.
Very simple, down to the point. Zendaya again
at the Kentucky Derby.
Pretty much. She was like, we'll just double up. We'll get two uses out of it.
Sadie Sink rocking it.
That's not what happened. Sadie Sink, of course. That looks amazing. Why am I forgetting the person on the right? She was in Argyle. I'm just having a bad day with names today, guys. Figure Drawing saying the Met Gala, formerly called the Costume Institute benefit, is the annual Haute Couture fundraising festival held for the benefit of the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute. The Met, by the way, is a great museum. If you are ever in New York, go check it out. Some amazing displays and exhibits there for you to look for. And yes, that's Dua Lipa that I completely blanked on. Thank you for correcting me, Monique. Yeah, Sadie, top 3 for sure, Fit Drawing says. And say her name now. Yes, I did. Didn't I just say? I'll go back to Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Oh, you're talking about. Okay, all right. So that was Lisa. Wait, let's see. Let's go back to Lisa. There you go. That's Lisa. So, all right. On that note, I think we're gonna move on to the. Oh wow! What a twist of fate! What a twist of fate! All right, but before we get there, let us know what was your favorite look from the Met Gala in the comments down below. And yes, now we have to talk about something a lot less glamorous, but nonetheless important. The reason why we bring this up, we don't do politics on this show. So we're not here to talk about the politics of it. We're here to talk about solutions for the movie industry. Because John, the way I want to kind of frame this conversation is, we have been talking about how production has been moving away from Los Angeles for a long time. And not only to other U.S. cities like, Atlanta and Georgia, you've got Louisiana, you've got Boston and Massachusetts, New York, of course. Chicago has a big production hub. They're building a lot of hubs all across the country that have incentives that draw studios there to shoot their movies at a cheaper rate. Superman filmed a lot in Cleveland and Cincinnati because Ohio has great production tax credits that they were able to take advantage of. And in shooting in LA takes a lot more permitting access. It's more costly. It's harder to get a hold of. So to get around all that red tape, movie studios and even indie films, they shoot elsewhere. Honora shot a lot in New York and stuff because it was too expensive to film out in New York and out in LA. They're not the only example. The more limited you are on your budget, the more you want to, maximize your resources. And oftentimes that's not possible in LA. But of course, the tariff suggestion by President Trump the other day was all about taxing foreign films 100%, which on the surface is a ridiculous statement because how do you go about executing it? It sent Hollywood in panic mode. But then today, the governor of California, not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Gavin Newsom, signaled that he's willing to work with the president on a $7.5 billion federal tax credit. So this won't be just for California, but for the entire country, for the U.S. entertainment industry, to help bring some of those productions that have been moving away from not just LA, but also abroad back home. Because, like, for example, recently, Marvel pretty much moved almost entirely their production to the UK. All of their servers that hold all of the digital intermediates and everything they shoot, all is now UK based. They're filming the 2 Avengers movies in the UK. Mission Impossible shoots most of its stuff abroad, but some of that is because the story requires that you shoot in those exotic locations. You can't shoot everything in the US, but like there are a lot of movies that want to, but they have to do stand-ins for like LA and stuff because it's too expensive. With this tax credit program, potentially you can give those incentives to movie studios to come back to the US to film here and compete on an equal playing field with those other international locations and countries and cities, as well as the other cities in the US alongside LA. So this seems like it's more of a compromise, but this wasn't the only development today on this. So I just want to kind of go through a couple of other things. Of course, in reaction to the whole tariff bombshell, even Indian movie producers were warning that this could be a bloodbath for Bollywood and just in general Indian movies, Tollywood movies that come across and they earn anywhere between 100 to 100 million plus at the American box office every year. How would that be affected? Like who pays the tariff? Is it the distributors? Is it the movie producers? And obviously if it's 100% tariff, you're talking about doubling the cost. So everybody kind of chiming in, including the Teamsters. They cheered on the move.
Yeah, of course they did.
Because of course from their perspective, all the production leaving the country means that they're getting to like, and I get it. I understand.
It's
yeah. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I don't. There's a part of it that's like, okay, having like trying to work with studios and producers, all that, to have films here. Like, I get that. Trying to boom the business of Hollywood back up again and movies and the movie industry. I understand that. But just putting a fucking tariff on every like movie made outside of the US that's American made is just fucking ridiculous. That's not because essentially what you're doing is isolationism. That's not the way to go. You're just cutting everyone off, and it's like, sure, I like it would be cool to see more movies made here and try to make the filmmaking business not just in LA but anywhere, boom, maybe even fucking New York, God forbid. So just to like make that like kind of boom again, but the way it's being done is just ridiculous. And of course, like the Teamsters being like people who have like wrecked fucking equipment and like stop people from doing their jobs and all this other shit. Like the Teamsters have always been a very toxic fucking like people. So it's like oh my god, the Teamsters are being assholes. That's fucking crazy. Wow, never would have suspected that. So yeah, it's just like there's a way to do it. This is not the way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, again, I understand their concern because as movies shoot abroad, if you're part of a union and you're working in the US, then that's less work for you. So I understand the concern a little bit, but again, like you said, this is not the right way to go about it. There's many ways to do it. This isn't the way, at least what was proposed, which again, so far the president hasn't and the administration hasn't outlined what the actual plan is. They're figuring it out. They're going to talk to the studio heads. No studio head has come out and said, oh, I've got a meeting scheduled.
Yes.
But SAG-AFTRA's chief negotiator,
I couldn't think of the word, but yes, union. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wouldn't come to me.
All good. Like, one of the biggest unions, of course, one of the unions that went on strike a couple of years ago, their chief negotiator is open to White House efforts to boost movie production in the U.S. Duncan Crapty Ireland also noted that the industry is waiting on specifics of the president's plan. Exactly what I mentioned. It's okay to be like open to the idea, but again, you can't just be like 100% tariffs on all movies that are, foreign movies. I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean movies that were made abroad? Does that mean like, the Indian movies coming here, or a French movie, or I don't know, like a movie that was like a Harry Potter film? Harry Potter movies have in the past mostly British actors, and they're shot mostly in the UK. Would those be considered, foreign movies, even though they're, owned by Warner Brothers, which is an American studio? Stuff like that. Like, how does this all work? So being open to the idea is one thing, but again, there needs to be a plan, and a comprehensive one. Otherwise it will, like all the stocks for Warner Brothers, Paramount, for Disney, they were all down because they were all kind of scrambling to figure out like what is going to happen here, because this could potentially ruin filmmaking, especially indie filmmaking, because they don't have the breathing room that some studios might have to pay up for the kind of tariffs that they're proposing here potentially. I mean, and of course, late night TV had a wild time with this. I think I was seeing the clip from Jimmy Fallon, and he was like, "Yeah, the next Lord of the Rings in Bayonne, New Jersey." And it just looks like like a bunch of mobsters with staffs and whatnot, and instead of New Zealand, like the way it was made. And then of course Jimmy Kimmel even did a Donclave trailer. Get it? Because like the papal conclave is happening right now to pick the new pope. And yeah, so except but Donald Trump anyway. So there's lots of entertainment to be had.
We got it.
Yeah. But the movie industry in America, well, look, it's not dying, as the president proclaimed. One thing I will say is it needs some help, because it is true that a lot of production is moving abroad, but it's partly because, American cities, or especially LA, don't necessarily give enough incentives, because movie production is expensive. And there's stats out there, like, for every dollar invested in a movie in LA, like you would get $20 in economic gain. So like, if you do something like that, if you presented with the idea, like, yeah, if you bring a movie to your town, all those people that come along with it that work on the movie are going to generate a lot of money for the cities that they're filming in, like in Atlanta, like in Los Angeles, like in New York. That's a benefit to have, but you can't do it by doing what you said, John. Like, isolationism is not the way to go about it. I think we need to make it a more open system, because otherwise the movies, the way they're made now, just wouldn't work. Like, the whole system would break down. So I hope that, this ends up in something comprehensive and not a mishmash of hastily thought out and not very well executed policies like what's been going on so far. But we'll keep our fingers crossed and our eyes open, and we'll let you know when there's developments. But that was today's update. I mean, if you guys want to catch up on what happened yesterday, go back to the show from yesterday. We talked about everything that went all around Hollywood and what everybody had to say, producers and movie studio executives and the administration announcing this. But today we had a few more details. I wanted to share those along with you. With that, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about this. And right now, we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is the hastier part of news. And that's what we call quick hits. So let's hit that quick hits music, shall we? And there we go. So let's get things started. The first thing I wanted to go through in quick hits today was this clip from Jackie Chan. I thought this was funny. Apparently Jackie Chan, when he's on set, he's like ding ding all the time when he's like, let's go, ding ding. which I appreciate the process of filmmaking with Jackie Chan. You get a little bit of insight into how this man does his work, and then he talks about how he's trying to be helpful on set. He's not just an actor who shows up, and says, all right, tell me where to stand and say my lines. He helps the crew out, whether it's carrying, props or lighting equipment, camera equipment, moving things around. He gets involved and rolls up his sleeves, which, look, that's a filmmaker's dream, right? When an actor is down to earth and easy to work with. And, it's not a surprise Jackie Chan is one of those guys. Like, he's
I know,
been in this industry for so long.
I know John Candy did a similar thing, although they didn't. It was like, this was like, back when like John Candy was only doing like really mainly Second City stuff, and like I think they were like unloading stuff out of like a trunk or something. It was like a lot of big like heavy equipment, and they saw John Candy, not assuming that this big guy was like the star of the movie. So they're like, hey, yo, dude, can you like help with this? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he just helped. He was just helping people. And then I think like the director and producer was like, where the hell is John Candy? And if somebody spots him, he's like, oh, he's helping the lighting crew for some reason. So that's like, I love that vibe. Like, I remember hearing that. I probably got the details wrong, but I remember like hearing that story, and I'm like, that's just fucking great. I love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just fun to see that. I just love seeing this. It makes you think, okay, he's not just somebody who thinks I've done it all and I don't need to do anything other than just wait till I get to say my lines to the camera. But I want to quickly shout out some of the other people in the chat. We got Mr. Gonzalez09 here. Super Blink, I mentioned earlier, is in the chat as well. Hosea is here. Candy the Sock is here. What an amazing name. Angelica is here. And she was asking a couple of questions about, how do the tariffs affect ticket prices? If they were to implement these 100% tariffs, they would raise ticket prices for us, and they would raise the cost of the movies as well, like how much you spend on making the movies, to answer your question there, Angelica. But we're hoping, because again, right now we're speculating, we don't have the details, but we're hoping once we get details, it will give us a better idea exactly how all that would work. If it ever comes to pass, that is, But Kevin is here as well, saying Sony Pictures will bounce back with Spider-Man Brand New Day at the box office. I think they'll bounce back with Karate Kid Legends, John. What do you think? This movie looks amazing so far. The first trailer was epic. The second trailer was even better. I don't think they've taken a wrong step in advertising this thing so far.
I don't think so either. I think this looks great.
And Hosea was saying in the chat, Jackie Chan is the man. I put that up earlier. A figure drawing saying Uncle Buck classic Drunken Master 2 is arguably Jackie's best movie. And Enterprising, of course, was talking about the tariffs earlier, saying, look, I'm all for helping the film industry out here, but if this idiot's tariff obsession makes foreign-made films like Godzilla -1 more expensive or less available, I'm going to be pissed. Yes, that's what we are worried about, but hopefully once we get details, that will answer some of our concerns. For the good or the bad, we'll find out. But hey, speaking of good or the bad, John, it's been 20 years. Of course, it's not only the 20th anniversary this year of Revenge of the Sith, the movie, but also the video game, which of course included an alternate ending where Anakin kills Obi-Wan Kenobi and Emperor Palpatine. Damn, I forgot about that part. But then this came across my desk. I was like, I can't not talk about this in Quick Hits. Is this a game that you played or ever owned?
Yes, I did. I never got past Count Dooku. That is how horrible of a gamer I am. I could never get past Count Dooku. My friend did it for me, and then I forgot to save it, and then I was just still stuck. So that was fun. Ouch. That happened with 2 games actually. So yeah, that was fun.
Dang. Well, Enterprising is excited about Karate Kid. Kevin saying How to Train Your Dragon franchise hasn't done well at the box office. No, but I mean, the new movie looks good. I mean, it's not like the previous movies were billion-dollar movies, but they were profitable. So I think, Kevin, those movies, at least the new Dragon movie will do well. Keanu Reeves, John, and Alex Winter, apparently they're going to Broadway, starring as two friends searching for meaning in an absurd world. And no, it's not Bill and Ted. It's Waiting for Godot. This looks interesting. Godot. Okay, sorry. I thought it was like Galaxy.
Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot. What are your thoughts? You're more of a theater buff than I am, a Broadway buff.
Not really. I mean, I know a little bit more, but
you know more than I do.
I mean, yeah, this could be really cool. You know, really like expanding that kind of, you know, lore, I guess, a bit between the two of them. But yeah, sounds fun.
That does sound fun.
I am aware of Waiting for Godot, but I'm not like I know the name. It's a classic play, but I don't remember what the plot is.
Hey, Keanu on Broadway, I'll take it. J.K. Rowling just explained why she won't fire Harry Potter's new Snape actor, Papazitou. If you're wondering why this was even a problem, is because Papazitou, of course, you know, has certain views on trans rights, and of course those are views that J.K. Rowling does not share, but she said that, hey, I'm not going to fire somebody just because they don't share the same views that I do, and you know, that she doesn't want to take away somebody's livelihood, and you know what, fair enough. You don't, you know, have to agree with somebody. I guess in this case, you know, good on her, because she usually gets rightfully so criticized for having the very anti-trans opinions of her own, but at the very least she's not, like, because she's the rights holder, right? So like she has a lot of say in this franchise, regardless of whether it's a TV show or a movie. So for her to be like, yeah, I'm not gonna sack an actor because I don't agree with their views, I'm like, all right, cool, good on her, at least in this particular instance. So yeah, the next quick hit, John. Hunter Schafer and Tim Roth are set to star in surreal Venice set Fish. Is directed by Italy's Carlo Hinterman. What are your thoughts on this one?
Cool.
Nice. I think Hunter Schafer is rumored to be joining the X-Men, and then of course Tim Roth already in the MCU. All right, now we've got our, of course, daily RuPaul update. Drag Race Judge T.S. Madison. I said judge twice. T.S. Madison announces Outlaws podcast with Tina Knowles, Chappelle Roan as the first guest. The new podcast will join iHeartRadio's Outspoken podcast network, which spotlights voices in the LGBTQ+ community. What are your thoughts on this one? I believe you talked about T.S. Madison a short while ago, but here we go. She's got a new podcast, and Tina Knowles and Chappelle Roan will be the first guests.
Cool.
All right, we got Christian in the chat saying Kal-El. No, we will talk about Kal-El later, John. Christian, I should say. Super Billing saying she's funny and problematic. Hell yeah. And Elite Easy saying trans rights are human rights. I'm glad this guy has the balls to speak up. Exactly, and we agree with you on that subject. All right, moving on to the next thing. We're going to talk about the Squid Game final season trailer, John. You saw this before the show. Apparently in this new
trailer for season 2, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of spoilers. So yes, if you haven't seen it, well, it's too late now, because the trailer kind of gives up that they're restarting the games after the huge failed rebellion that happens at the end of season 2. Which, look, in season 2 was kind of concerned, like, they're gonna just put him back in the game and do it all over again. But the way they did it, I was like, okay, you know, I bought into it. And by the time the rebellion hit, I was like, all right, great. I will say though, the way the second season ended, clearly it was like a cliffhanger that directly leads into season 3, and I'm glad they're not letting us wait like 2 or 3 years for it like Shogun will. But what are your thoughts on the trailer? Is this one that catches your interest? Is the final season?
Never seen the first 2 seasons. Don't plan on watching it. Looked kind of cool, I guess, but I still have no interest.
All right, fair enough. Super Blink says he's gonna step away and be right back. But Super Blink, be sure to come back in a few minutes. We'll be talking about the tier list Tuesday. But Benedict Cumberbatch, I do love saying that name, is set to executive produce the Annecy murders based on real life cold case. Sean, what are your thoughts on this one?
Cool.
It looks interesting. It's set on real world events. A British Iraqi engineer is going to be the focus of the movie, and yeah, I mean executive producing, so expanding his portfolio. Tatiana Maslany and Marwan Kenzari, of course, Tatiana Maslany from She-Hulk, Marwan Kenzari, the actor who was in Aladdin, and he's done a couple of things since. They're both set to star in a Berlin set romantic comedy, Any Other Night. Romantic comedy with these two actors? I mean, I'd buy it. What do you think, John?
Not really into rom-coms, but I know both of them are great actors. She-Hulk notwithstanding, and Aladdin notwithstanding, but you know, outside of Disney stuff, they've done great.
Orphan Black was
things.
great.
I saw her. She was also in The Monkey earlier this year, and she was great in that. She was not in it a ton, but she was one of those characters not in it a ton, but she left a huge impression. But everybody dies, and that sucks. Just very blunt and to the point. And great stuff. But I also saw her on Broadway too. She was great. The Grey House. She was really, really good in that. I haven't seen him in anything outside of let's not talk about that. But I'm sure he's a great actor. This will probably be fine. Well, I don't know if production will be fine since it's set in Berlin, so who knows about that. But I'm sure it'll be a fine movie.
I for one am always a sucker for a good rom-com, so I'll go see it if it's good. George Clooney and Adam Sandler's Jay Kelly from Noah Baumbach lands award season release date, John. This movie is from Netflix, but it will get a theatrical release for 3 weeks before it lands on Netflix. And the date that they gave it is November 14th, John. So you can go see it in a movie theater November 14th. Then 3 weeks later on December 5th, it's going to drop on Netflix. Baumbach wrote the script. He directed it, and he wrote the script, co-wrote it with Emily Mortimer. And of course, we've got that first look image at the movie that I was looking at earlier. The movie also has Billy Crudup, Laura Dern, Grace Edwards, and a Riley Keough? Stacey
Keough, Stacey Keach, Jim
Patrick
Broadbent, Josh Hamilton,
Jim
and of course
Broadbent.
Greta Gerwig, the woman he was cheating on Jennifer Jason Leigh with.
Yeah, it's a star-studded cast, John, and Emily Mortimer also starring in it. This looks interesting. This looks very interesting. What are your thoughts on this movie? Is this one that you're looking forward to?
It could be good.
Caleb is never expected, George Clooney and Adam Sandler to be in the same sentence. Well, we never expected a lot of things.
And it's directed by and written by Noah Baumbach too.
Noah Baumbach. Is it? Wait, so that's Greta Gerwig's writing partner, right? Aren't they married? Or am I?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Anyway, Mandy Moore is set to star opposite Nate Bargatze in TriStar, that Sony TriStar comedy, The Breadwinner. Eric Appel, who directed the Al Yankovic story, is directing the movie. What are your thoughts on this one, John?
I think Nate Bargatze is pretty funny. I've seen a little bit of him on SNL and stuff like that. Mandy Moore hasn't been relevant for since Tangled, but cool getting another movie. I'd see it for Eric Apple because or Appel, Apple, however you pronounce it. I think that could be, I'm curious what his directing style was, because I feel like he was kind of not a higher job on Weird, but it was it was more about the writing of that, and it was more about the parody than the direction itself. So I think I'm curious what he would do, doing his own feature or doing it independently and that kind of thing. So I'm curious about this.
Yeah. Also, I mean, of course, Mandy Moore, This Is Us. She's in there. Birdie Boria is in there. Charlotte Ann Tucker. Stella Grace Fitzgerald from Rebel Moon. So you've got a lot of up-and-comers, but Mandy Moore, of course, one of the established stars. And
Weird was that movie, because Caleb was saying
it was great.
It was fucking great. Because it's it makes so much sense. It's okay, the guy who does parody songs, let's do a parody movie. Perfect. Daniel Radcliffe, perfect. Just the fucking, Rainn Wilson, perfect. Evan Rachel Wood,
it was
perfect. It was just it wasn't like the greatest movie ever, but it was like it just worked on every level. It was made by fans for fans of Weird Al, and it's just like where else are you gonna see Weird Al traipsing through the Colombian jungle searching for Pablo Escobar? It's just like that's just awesome.
We did a review for that, actually. You guys can go back and look for it on the channel. We had all the fun watching that movie and talking about it. Now, of course, the other news that I want to get into, IFC Films has announced a rebrand, and their new logo says the words Independent Film Company in there. It's, of course, the 25th anniversary of the company, and they're also sort of moving things around on the business side of things. So now the newly rebranded vertical is going to be under the big IFC Entertainment Group umbrella, and of course they have IFC Center under it as well, the movie theater, and then of course the streaming service Shudder, where you can watch a lot of their horror movies. John, what do you think about this move for IFC, kind of rebranding their logo a little bit? The Independent Film Company is written out. They think this is the right move at the right time, considering the 25 years now that they've been around.
Sure, do what you need to do.
I'm like, IFC already kind of stood for that, like independent film company, but it was IFC Films, but now it's just Independent Film Company, IFC. So it was like Independent Film Company Films. So now it's just, anyway, you get it. It's a new logo. Moving on to the next thing. I feel like we did this before, like we talked about it, but maybe it wasn't confirmed, but I guess now it is confirmed. Because Mr. Beast and James Patterson, speaking of two other names you wouldn't ever hear in the same sentence, but they are teaming up for a high-stakes thriller novel. It's going to publish next year in 2026, and it's going to be about...
I love how they have a set date for a book. It's like, all right, let's
It's a
write
Mr.
this
Beast
thing.
book, and get this, it's going to be about contestants competing in an extreme global competition. Wow, who would have thought of that? I wonder where they get that inspiration.
But will it be as horrible as Beast Games? We'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's James Patterson, so I don't know. I guess it depends on what your mileage is with James Patterson's work. So, yeah, it's going to be published in English as well as 14 other languages by HarperCollins and through his global publishing program. I never thought that Mr. Beast and James Patterson would be a collaboration that we would be getting. So there you go. Now, earlier we talked about George Clooney. So the last thing I wanted to kind of quickly do is look through some of the birthdays today, John. You've got a few big ones here. As you can see, George Clooney is celebrating his 64th birthday today. Naomi Scott is celebrating her 32nd. Adrian Palicki as well on the list. Leslie Hope, another name that I recognize. You tell me which of the ones you recognize on here. I'm trying to see if there's any other ones that stick out to me. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. They love putting this out there in their daily emails. Yeah, I mean, I don't recognize a ton of other names today, but you guys let us know in the chat. Any of these names stick out? I mean, happy birthday to George Clooney. Of course, he's got the only one that's got a link to it, so of course he's the biggest name. Adrian Palicki, I wonder where she's up to these days.
I mean,
she was once upon a time a Wonder Woman. So
I know Naomi Scott, obviously. I know Adrian Palicki. I know Emily Allen Lind. I know Greg Henry. I know Lars Mikkelsen. I know Kevin Smith, not Kevon Smith, but
I think I know Kevon Smith. I think he was in Stargate. I think. Oh yeah, he was in. Kevon Smith was in Stargate, Atlantis.
I know, and I know Andre Overdahl. Yes, great director.
Wow, he's turned 55. Adrian Palicki.
We don't
yes,
talk
was
about
Wonder Woman.
that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. I also love that George Clooney cameo. That was where we last left off The Flash. But this is where we leave off the Quickets, John. So with that, let's turn off that Quickets music because we have come to the end of the news and Quickets segment of the show. So guys, let us know what you thought about all those news stories. George Clooney's birthday. Did you wish him happy birthday today? Of course, we had a bunch of other stuff from the
go
tariffs.
to his house, say happy birthday, and then he fucking orders security to get you off his property.
Do your best. Bring like a big jukebox just be up on his yard, just waving it around. I don't know. I just keep knocking my microphone, so let me fix that here. Wow, this thing has been taking some hits. All right, okay, fixed. This is live television, guys, or live internet, whatever this is. Live internet streaming. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, get us your picks for the your favorite story in the comments, whatever. I'm going to try to recover from that mishap by changing the topic. So today is MCU Weekly times DCU Daily. So you saw that in the title. So we do have to talk about a little bit of Marvel before we move on to some DC news. We do have a ton of DC news, but of course, before we do that, there's some stuff going on in the MCU we got to talk about. So, John, let's get into it, shall we? The first thing I wanted to dive into is there's a new photo of Herbie out there. Herbie from the new Fantastic Four movie, the director of the movie, Matt Shackman, saying Herbie is very much a definitive member of the family. It's not just there to be like a sidekick. He is very much alive and well, and a functional, integral part of the Marvel's first family, brought to life by a combination of remote control practical effects, kind of like what we saw with Superman's robots, and then some puppetry as well as CGI. John, what do you think about this new image? Looks very photoreal. I mean, that's probably the robot version that they built for real, given how good that looks.
It does look good.
Yeah.
It does look quite good. But yeah, seeing him build a crib, so that's in like the whole building upon like, oh, this family just got a whole lot bigger. Anyway.
Do we have that one? I don't know if we.
I don't think we do. I think we got rid of it.
Man.
But
I
yeah.
got friends. I got family.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Cool. Five Ash thinks this looks terrible. I don't know what Five Ash is smoking today, but I think it looks amazing. Not to mention, John, the same actor, the voice actor who voiced General Grievous, has now been revealed as the voice of Herbie in the new Fantastic Four movie. What are your thoughts on that? They did some voice modulation on his Grievous voice, so I don't know if they're gonna do something like that for Matthew Wood for Herbie. We didn't really, if I'm trying to remember, if we have heard Herbie talking so far.
We have not yet. I didn't think he would. But I'm really curious how they're because they can go one of like three ways: either super deep, normal, or really high pitch and squeaky, like wow, like that, like high pitch, like kind of vibe, like kind of like overly comedic kind of thing. So obviously we'll see, but like I'm curious about that. I got General Grievous as the voice of Herbie.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
By the way, Five Ash correcting himself, or I guess correcting us, saying he was talking about Batman and Robin because Elite EZ was saying it's amazingly shot. I agree with you. Very colorful. Five Ash doesn't agree, but that's, everybody has their own opinions. Monique saying, on the other hand, it seems like superhero flicks have devolved to the cuteness factor. This robot from Fantastic Four and Crypto for Superman, they both look amazing. Which I kind of ad-libbed the last part of that comment, but I think you agree with the sentiment. And they look cute. I bet this will sell a lot of merchandise, which is exactly the idea. Figure Drawing saying, shout out to Wally. I'm trying to do the axe thing. I can't do it. I tried and I failed. Moving on to the next thing, John. We had to talk about, of course, the new Avengers, the artist formerly known as the Thunderbolts. Of course, the movie is out. Marvel has spent probably millions of dollars replacing all the posters and murals and everywhere digital marketing. The logo is now replaced from Thunderbolts to New Avengers. But is it really an Avengers movie? And also, it looks like they're not changing the official name to Thunderbolts : New Avengers, or just calling them the New Avengers. So if you go to the movie theater, it's still very much called Thunderbolts. So don't go to the AMC app or the Regal app and look for the New Avengers. You'll still have to type in Thunderbolts. But John, given all the changes that they've been making to the marketing and really just aggressively telling us that these are the New Avengers, which is a little bit meta because of how it ties into the movie itself. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is working for the audience that Marvel has? Of course, the idea that they're really trying to push the narrative from the movie itself, that in the movie they have to sell to the world the idea that these guys, this new government sanctioned team, are the New Avengers, not the team that they used to know as the Avengers. Of course, no Iron Man in this one, no Captain America, which is that's part of the movie as well. Do you buy the hype? Do you buy the hype around the New Avengers?
Not really.
Well, neither do the Avengers Twitter account, because apparently that one is operated by Anthony Mackie's Captain America. If you know, you know, because now that Avengers logo, not the new Avengers logo, but the OG Avengers logo has been copyrighted. You see the little copyright C there. That I guess ties into how Anthony Mackie's Captain America is not quite on board with this new Avengers thing, because he's putting his own version of the Avengers together. So I guess we're getting an Avengers.
I just love that
Avengers
picture of Anthony.
thing.
I love how they like keep showing that one image of her like just. I mean, Anthony Mackie is a good-looking guy. This just makes him like look fucking weird. Like, hey, how you doing?
Elite Easy kind of calling out Marvel like, hey man, like they're just kind of devolving to cheap marketing tricks at this point. They're desperate. Spiraling DC should just stay the course. Elite Easy is saying, keep waiting for good scripts and don't rush the Justice League movie. I don't think they're gonna rush the Justice League movie. James Gunn is in no hurry to do that. And Peter Safran also made that very clear. But I saw a bunch of these other, set photos. I mean, it looks like the Thunderbolts cast had a lot of fun filming this stuff. So, that's not a surprise, of course. These are always fun to see. Hannah John Common, I should say, having a lot of fun with the movie too. Of course, the director there, you've got the two of the CIA representatives in the movie. They both had quite a bit of fun. These were just some fun photos. Any of these stick out to you, John, from behind the scenes of the movie?
Very cute.
They are cute. I mean, it does goes to show you just the amount of location production they have. It looks like there's a lot of stuff being shot at the Avengers Tower. There's stuff in the city, which, by the way, this movie doesn't quite address the events of Daredevil Born Again, but maybe it was because, they weren't really talking to each other on the back end. But at least it looks like these guys had fun. So there you go. And with that, guys, we have come to the end of the MCU Weekly part of the show. So let us know in the comments down below, what was your favorite part? Was it the Herbie? Was it the Herbie voice actor that we now know? Is it the stuff from Thunderbolts or the new Avengers? Do you buy it? What do you think about Avengers being copyrighted? Who owns the copyright to the Avengers? The original Avengers or the new Avengers? We would love to hear from you about that. But with that, we're going to move on to the next thing. And today, I mean, Tier List Tuesdays won't always be about Marvel, but today they happen to be about Marvel, and they're following up on the MCU Weekly segment. So welcome on in to Tier List Tuesdays. This is the very first episode of Tier List Tuesdays. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to bring up a tier list. We're going to have a bunch of options, and we're going to put it all together. If you guys know what a tier list looks like and how it works, then you know. But if you don't, I'm going to have John kind of explain it a little bit before we dive into it. I'm just going to say there's like 5 or 6 options in total, so we're not going to take a long time to get through them, but we will get you guys in on the action. So I'll share a link with you guys later on to do that. But John, for those of us who are not familiar with what a tier list might be, do you want to give them a quick explainer before we dive into it?
I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's essentially just a ranking system where highest is S. Never know quite why it's S, but like it's like higher than A. It goes S, A, B, C, D, F. Sometimes there's an E thrown in there. And you rank movies. Rank anything: foods, movies, restaurants, pretty much anything into. It's a ranking system, but they all go in like a certain category. S is the best of the best. F is the bottom of the barrel. So, and anything in between. Some people have different like descriptors for certain lists. Like C, some people view that as like average. Some people view that as like not good, like kind of getting into bad territory. But depending on who you are, depending on what it is, tier lists have taken the internet by storm. I think Game Grumps just dropped one today about sandwiches. So like, it's easy and fun to do. You just show rankings, and then it can spark debate, usually very cancerous and toxic debates, but debates nonetheless. So today we're going to be doing Marvel movies. So let's jump right into it.
Yeah. So here's how this is going to work. I kind of found a bunch of movies logos, I guess, from Marvel, because they love their movie logos. Obviously, these are upcoming Marvel movies, and I added a couple to it because I thought 4 is not enough. Maybe we'll add a little bit more to it than that. So I added in Thunderbolts, which is why the graphic as an asterisk next to upcoming, because technically the Thunderbolts is not upcoming anymore, but it is a movie that's out in theaters now. Then you also have the only other Marvel movie that we know of coming out soon, which is technically not an MCU film, but it is a Marvel movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, or Beyond the Spider-Verse, I should say.
Yep.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we've got 6 of those options, the 4 on screen here. We're going to add Thunderbolts and Beyond the Spider-Verse to it. And I said this as a live event, so you guys can go in and make your own tier list, and then we'll show the results. It's going to be live for an hour, so definitely click the link and go do your thing. And while you guys do yours, you can also, of course, chime in the live chat or to get in the comments down below. We here are going to be doing it ourselves. So, John, let's start things out. I'm going to have you do yours first, and I'm going to do mine. So there's only 6 picks here. You got Avengers Doomsday, you've got Avengers Secret Wars, Spider-Man Brand New Day. You have Beyond the Spider-Verse, the third and final Spider-Verse movie from Sony. Then you have the Fantastic Four, First Steps. And you have, of course, Thunderbolts, the artist formerly known as, or I guess the New Avengers artist formerly known as the Thunderbolts. Where do you want to start?
I guess we should start with the current one and then go to the latest one. So first and back. So Thunderbolts, I don't know. I have a feeling like this could be good, could be bad. Like I've just kind of been numb to the whole Marvel thing. So, but considering what I've heard about it, I have a feeling I think I'd like this okay. So I would probably put that in like B tier. I think that would be like pretty good.
Did you say B tier?
B tier.
Thunderbolts? All right, moving on to B tier.
I'll put it in B tier. I'll be nice.
Okay. Middle of the road. All right.
I think, yeah, like pretty much middle of the road. Okay. For Fantastic Four, I have been in and out so much with this movie. Like I was hyped, then I wasn't hyped, and I was hyped again. Now I'm not hyped. Now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Here's the thing. I want it to be good so badly. But with what I've been hearing about it, that those trailers, the first one and the second one, were both kind of disappointing, like outside of the retrofuturism look that I do really like, and 3 out of the 4 Fantastic Four characters being pretty well cast. I still think Pedro Pascal is miscast as Mr. Fantastic. So I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I think I'm gonna put it in C tier. I think I'm gonna C tier. I don't have a ton of hope, unfortunately. I don't.
Right.
I want to believe, but it's just like right now I'm not incredibly hopeful. Like I don't think it's gonna be a horrible movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's gonna be great. But we'll see. Then we have Beyond the Spider-Verse, S tier. I think it'll be phenomenal. I think it'll be great. It's the first 2 movies are fantastic. This one is it's gonna be great.
Okay, so S tier. That's the first one you put at the very top. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Again, I want it to be good so badly. We've set up a really good thing. We're finally getting Spider-Man in what feels like the proper place. He doesn't have annoying side characters, hopefully. He's miserable. Thank God. No, I know. It's just like if this feels like Spider-Man, it's like he's not connected to all these other Marvel heroes and he's not Iron Man Jr. He's not all this other shit. So I hope it's great. I hope it'll be a proper brand new day, but I'm not totally sure. Okay. So I'm going to put it in B tier above Thunderbolts.
All right. Okay. B tier. Wait. You mean the A tier?
No, B tier, but like ahead of Thunderbolts. It's not behind Thunderbolts. It would be in the same tier list, but it would be a little bit higher than I think I would
Okay.
like it a little bit higher than Thunderbolts.
Got
So
it.
it's like
Okay.
it wouldn't be behind it for me. It would be in
Okay.
front of Thunderbolts, like
Got it.
slightly
Okay. All right.
better.
Okay. Cool. I see what you mean. All
And
right, next one.
then
Doomsday.
What is that? Doomsday and Secret Wars are switched, but Doomsday first. I'm putting that in D tier.
B tier.
D tier.
D tier. Dang. D tier for Doomsday. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's low. Okay.
D. It fits. It's green. It begins with D. I thought it was perfect. I just like. Here's the thing. I don't really like any of the Avengers movies outside of Age of Ultron. I mean, the first one I did not like when it first came out. I thought it was like everyone was like fucking jizzing in the fucking theater like when that goddamn movie came out, and so I was just like the overhype fucking murdered it for me. So I was like, okay, that was like okay, and then I kind of soured on it further, but now I've kind of come to terms with it. Like it's, you know what, it's a fine movie. I don't know if I would ever watch it again, but it's perfectly serviceable. Age of Ultron was the best. It had the best themes, the best character interactions, the best villain. So many great moments. It was like pretty much everything the first one wasn't for me in terms of greatness, but I've learned to like the first one. Like it's okay. Infinity War and Endgame are fucking mediocre fucking drivel. Like, and I think that are the fans going to love it? Probably. Is it going to make $1 billion? Yeah. But like, I don't think it's going to be good. Like, Secret Wars, I'll be nice and I'll put it in C tier. Because I think, because at least you have like, oh, it's Secret Wars. You like have that edge. Like, to be fair, I do slightly like Endgame more than Infinity War. Only because like the last hour is like really fun. Like it's just like mindless garbage. Like it's just junk food. So yeah, I think I don't think it, and then Doomsday, it's just like I feel like that's gonna be like it's just not gonna be that great. It's just I don't think it's gonna be hard. Remember, it's D, it's not F, even though we didn't have an F tier here. I don't think it's gonna be like garbage, but I think it's just gonna be like kind of bland, mediocre crap like Infinity War kind of was. So that's what I'm gonna say.
So that's your tier list. You've got only Beyond the Spider, which is not even an MCU movie, but Beyond the Spider-Verse as S tier. Then you have 2 in B tier with Thunderbolts and Brand New Day, the 4th Spider-Man movie. Then both Fantastic Four and Avengers Secret Wars are in C tier, and then Avengers Doomsday in D tier at the very bottom. Like, wow, I think a lot of people would probably almost have that whole list reversed anyway. At least not the whole list, but a lot of those movies, in different places. I, for one, I'm going to go quickly through mine. So let me kind of like do that here. Let me find the other tab. Boom. Okay. So given that Thunderbolts is already out and, it's a pretty gosh darn good movie, I would put that in A tier for myself. Fantastic Four, I have a lot of high hopes for, but it's just, the amount of times we've been disappointed with this franchise before. I'm going to put that in the B tier because I feel like there's enough anxiety around it that, they could hit the mark, but they could also miss it just as easily. Even, if cosmetically it looks amazing because it's 60s, they're really going for a different aesthetic, but, we've done different aesthetics before. So I'm not entirely convinced yet. I need a full trailer for that. Beyond the Spider-Verse, I agree with you, John. I think given the quality of the previous 2 movies, I mean, the fact that they're spending 5,000 years making it, I have a feeling that's going to be an S tier movie. It has to be at this point. And then Brand New Day, I feel if they're going with the more down to, the street level version of Spider-Man, then I feel like, yeah, that's probably going to be an A tier movie because we haven't seen a Spider-Man like that since The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And even that was really not a street level Spider-Man. He was fighting like 5 different villains in the same movie. So maybe the first Amazing Spider-Man movie has been a long time since we've seen that. The first Homecoming was kind of like it, but there was a lot of Iron Man in that movie for me.
Iron Man Jr.
Yeah, like it wasn't really a Spider-Man movie. Although it was probably still the better of the 3 movies. But anyway, Avengers Doomsday. I have a lot of expectations for this, but I do also worry that gimmicky thing of RDJ coming back as Doomsday. I was thinking about one fan theory the other day, or I guess I came up with this theory. I don't know if somebody else has. What if? Because I was watching the short from Avengers Endgame, right? Where they snap and Tony's like, I'm Iron Man, and he snaps his fingers and Thanos and his army disappears. So stick with me for a second. Remember in that movie, the Thanos that they're fighting is a Thanos from the past. And the way they explain time travel is basically every time you go into the future or to the past, you sort of created a new branching timeline, right? That's kind of how Hulk, the ancient one, they kind of explain it that way. So I was thinking that Thanos was not the same Thanos that they lost to. It's also, not the same, since he kind of stepped out of his timeline, it's no longer the Thanos that's in their past. So that must be like an alternate timeline that they created where Thanos leaves in 2023 and then gets dusted in the timeline where we see our Avengers win. So what about that universe? Do you think that, because that universe Tony Stark would not have died in. That universe Tony Stark would not have been left for dead in space. Maybe he ends up with like more of the stones. Maybe he ends up with a time stone somehow. And that maybe ties into the Doomsday look, the green color and everything. Whatever the case might be, I'm saying it's still a bit of a stretch that Tony Stark turns evil and becomes Victor Von Doom. But I'm thinking maybe that universe didn't have an Iron Man, or maybe it did. But maybe they try to, in general, somehow tie Victor Von Doom into one of those alternate timelines created as a result of the events of Avengers Endgame. That's what I was thinking. Now, if they go that route, maybe there's potential for this movie, but honestly, I still kind of put it next to Fantastic Four because it can go either way for me right now. There's too early for us to tell what the story is, so yeah, it can go either way. However, Avengers Secret Wars, I would put in A tier. Again, these are like, early preemptive rankings. And the reason I put it up there is because we're going to see, quite frankly, almost every single character and version of the character they can possibly get a hold of from Marvel past and present, and maybe even future, and bring them into one movie. You're going to go and enjoy it. I'm like, Endgame is not a superior movie to Infinity War, but Endgame still is very enjoyable in the third act. And it's that one thing that they say about movie making, right? As long as you send the crowd home happy, they won't care that the first half of the movie sucked. So that's where I think, it's going to probably make its money, and probably in the billions. So that's my tier list. Now, while we were doing this, a couple of you guys in the chat, I think, chimed in to the tier list yourself. So we have a couple of votes. Not a lot of you joined in, but I mean, the poll is still up, so you guys can, hop on in and take advantage of it. The link was in the chat. Let me see if I can pin that comment for now. But Enterprising saying Doomsday at its worst is an over-convoluted member-berry movie. Just a Figure Drawing was saying, for me, Doomsday is worth it just for the banger cast. That's a good point. He was saying also, Figure Drawing, thank you. John is a cinema man, whereas you are a man of the people. Thank you. I think you're talking to me. Some people out in these streets just want to be entertained. That's all. Exactly, man. I just want to have fun.
Bro, I can be entertained. It's just, not by these.
Yeah. Come
on. Here's the thing. I can enjoy schlock. I can enjoy fun stuff. I can enjoy all that sort of thing. It's just, for me, Marvel is the stuff that it's not like, at least the most recent Marvel stuff, where it's not great, but at the same time, it's not like so bad it's funny, except maybe like Marvels or Quantumania. But I'm entertained by like shit like Madam Web. Like Madam Web was garbage, but like that's really funny. That's funny to me. Like,
so hypothetically, where in the tier list would you put Madam Web?
Oh, as a movie, it's fucking F tier. It sucks. But like in terms of entertainment value, I'd give it at least a B. Like, it's entertaining as fuck. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a horrible movie. I thought it was funny though.
Okay.
But that's just me.
All right. Well,
Morbin Time, Kraven the Hunter, fucking Venom the Last, like all those are the only like really genuinely bad one, or at least close to that point, is probably Let There Be Carnage. That's the only but that's because they like completely royally butt fucked Carnage and Cletus Cassidy in that movie, and wasted Woody Harrelson. I was like, come on, guys, what are we doing? And it's by like the best director out of all of them, Andy Serkis. He's a very good director, so like, it's like, dude, what happened? Anyway,
all right. Well, as you can see, we've got a bunch of votes in there, more people voting. I'm just going to quickly kind of walk through what we have so far, and then maybe we'll follow up toward the end of the show. See if any of you guys also went in there and added your votes. Feel free to do that. The link is pinned in the live chat. But as of right now, these are where the most votes tally stands. Most of you guys put Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Thunderbolts all in the B tier. Fantastic Four in the C tier, and then Beyond the Spider-Verse as well as Secret Wars are both in the S tier. So, okay. A tier and D tier not getting a ton of love, but that's all right. So a lot of, 3 movies right in the middle. Fantastic Four kind of low, but, Secret Wars and Beyond the Spider-Verse seems to be doing it for you guys. Now, if you look at the average vote based on where you guys all voted, and we kind of average those numbers out, you get a slightly more even distribution with the Spider-Verse at the very top again. That seems to be the only consistent thing. We've all kind of put Spider-Verse at the very top, which goes to show you just how good the first 2 movies were. Brand New Day, the 4th Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, at an A. Secret Wars kind of averages out down to an A from an S. And then Doomsday still very much in the middle of Fantastic Four. Whereas I'm surprised that a lot of you guys ranked Thunderbolts that low, that it's averaging out to a C. That's surprising to me. That's probably the biggest surprise there. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we are at. John, your list as follows, with the Spider-Verse at the top, Thunderbolts and Brand New Day in the middle. You got Fantastic Four and Secret Wars at the C, and Doomsday all the way down in the D, because you said that, D for Doomsday. Whereas for me, Spider-Verse, I agree with you, we're at the very top. Thunderbolts, Brand New Day, Secret Wars at the second tier, and then at B, I put Fantastic Four and Doomsday because I'm a little concerned about both of those movies. And that, guys, is your Tier List Tuesday. The very first one. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed it. A lot of you guys are watching, so if you want to take part in it, that poll that we put up, let's see how many more minutes we got on it. The link is in the chat. You're welcome to go in and add your vote. It's going to be up for another 42 minutes from, if you're watching live, that is. And if you're not watching live, then you'll just click the link and see the results. So with that in mind, John, we're going to bring this segment to a close. So thank you guys for checking out Tier List Tuesdays. This was the very first one. Let us know, if you thought this was a good idea. Maybe we can bring it back next week. We'll try some DC topics. Maybe we'll do that. But hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're here 5 days a week doing the show, talking about DC, Marvel, everything from the world of Hollywood. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. But don't go anywhere, because we are far, far from done. Now it's time for the main event of the evening. As per always, it's time to talk about DC. So welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. As always, you've got a bunch of Superman news. That's the big movie on the horizon. We've got some Green Lanterns update, Lanterns on HBO, I should say. We've got an update regarding the script of Clayface. A surprising update there. And we've got a few things beyond that as well. Of course, as always, with me, I've got John. Which of the stories are you most excited about from the world of DC today?
I like Mike DeLuca, being like, I'm confirming all the things and you can't stop me kind of thing. I don't know. I just find that to be a little funny. So, and Superman stuff, of course. That's always.
By the way, we're getting some feedback on the Tier List Tuesday segment. Caleb saying, this is fun. We should do movie directors. You know what? That is a fantastic idea. Sold. Next week, we're going to do movie directors. If you guys have any ideas for movie directors you want to be voting for in the Tier List Tuesday, drop those in the comments down below, and we'll bring those director names in, and we'll do a tier list, and you guys can do the tier list as well. So thank you, Caleb, and we would love your feedback. We appreciate it. But now, John, as you said, we got to talk about DC. So let's start with the first story. Writer of the movie Drive, Hossein Amini, is set to rewrite the Mike Flanagan script for DC Studios' Clayface. This comes to us from The Wrap, Humberto Gonzalez, who used to be a Hollywood insider. Now he works full-time at The Wrap. What are your thoughts? I mean, rewriting the Clayface movie, this to me is a little shocking. I mean, does that mean they're not in love with the script that Mike Flanagan, the great Mike Flanagan, wrote? Why are they bringing in... I mean, look, Hossein Amini Drive is a great movie. Hossein Amini did great work with there, so it's not that I don't trust him. I just am concerned, did they not like the script? Why did they greenlight it, John? What do you think this is? Is it just a script doctor kind of a thing? Or do you think
I think it's like a script doctor. They're probably just, it's probably, because here's the thing. I would imagine that Mike Flanagan's script was probably based on like he was probably thinking of doing like more of like an Elseworld story, which I think is why everyone was kind of shocked that it was greenlit and it's going to take place in the DCU. So I mean, Drive, great movie. So I'm sure he could make that work, and it's still kind of like that grounded kind of vibe that I feel like Clayface would be. So I can only imagine that it's probably just like making things work in the spirit of the DCU, like what the plan is. So I think they're like going to tweak it a little bit, but I don't think they're doing anything like super major or anything like that. I can't like, as you said, probably like a script doctor, maybe like, I don't think they're like doing like a page 1 rewrite. That's like ridiculous if this is true. So, the rap is not like one of the better ones, but it's
but they're credible enough.
So
yeah. So in the article from Umberto Gonzalez in the wrap, of course, Matt Reeves is producing the movie as well as Lynn Harris. They're starting production or expected to start production in the UK in October of this year. So they mention that this is of course a script where the last draft was written by, as we know, Mike Flanagan, and they're just looking to kind of rewrite it. And like you said, John, it doesn't seem like they're rewriting the whole thing, but we don't have a ton of details beyond that. So we'll just have to wait and see, what other news comes out from this. If another, trade outlet kind of confirms this, or maybe even like, kind of counters it with a different story. So I would just be interested to see if, I'm guessing both Mike Flanagan and Hossein Amini will get writing credits at this point. But if Hossein Amini doesn't get writing credit in the movie and he's uncredited, then maybe the amount of work he does for this will be pretty minor. Super Blink in the chat saying, I seen that it's a director's pass. Oh, you did tag us on Twitter about this. Okay, all right. So let me see if I can go find that here. Caleb saying I'll leave a list of directors after the stream is over for Tier List Tuesdays. Thank you, Caleb, for doing that. Let me actually quickly see if I can find the tag from Super Blink. You said you did this on Twitter. I don't see it, or X, I guess is what they're calling it now. But hey, I'll take your word for it, Super Blink. Definitely seems interesting. Again, a director's pass doesn't seem like it's major updates. They just want to tweak a few things, like you said, John, which is fair enough. You know what? A lot of movies have this happen to them. It's a regular part of the process. It's just the first initial headline will kind of like get your head spinning a little bit, because like, wait a second, they greenlit the thing. Why are they rewriting it now? But yeah, it's understandable. So if there's any other details beyond that, thank you, Super Blink, for adding a little more context. We will definitely bring that to you guys. But right now, we got to mention Lanterns, of course. Gregory Middleton, who was a DP on The Watchmen and Moon Knight, as well as Game of Thrones. So a well-known director of photography for television shows, especially, big-time streaming premium television shows for HBO and for Disney+. He's going to be involved with the new Lantern show. He's one of the cinematographers on HBO's Lanterns. What do you think Gregory Middleton, John, will bring to this project? And of course, as a baseline, it adds a little more prestige, considering the resume he already has. Are you excited about this addition to the crew?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really good. I mean, again, like he's had some superhero stuff. That makes sense. So yeah, I think he would be a really, really great addition. As long as like he's aware of not having any Starbucks cups, then we should be okay. Then we should be okay.
Dang. Yeah. Good point. Good. I don't know if he was involved in that episode, but good point. Moonlight. Sorry, not Moonlight. Wait, are you sure you meant to say Moonlight, Elite Easy? I think you might have meant to say Moon Knight. Moon Knight was a fun show until it didn't stick the landing. But Enterprising, like, I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. I got that reference. Elite Easy was asking dead or alive directors for the tier list. And I put that message in the chat for you, Elite Easy. I think next week we should do the ones that are working today, like the current directors out there who are active. Then maybe we can do just, directors who have passed away. And then maybe we can do like, directors all time, like GOAT conversation. And that could be, Kubrick, Spielberg, Nolan. We'll talk about them all. So yeah. And then, we'll I'm sure we'll have other ideas. We can do actors. We can do DC characters. We'll dive into it all. Yes, Moonlight is good too, Elite Easy, and he says Moon Knight is great and Moonlight was great. Both of them were good, or great. So Superblink saying if you go to Apocalyptic Horseman, he has said it wasn't a complete rewrite. Okay. Apocalyptic Horseman is one of those scoopers talking about the Clayface rewrite is not a total rewrite. So yeah, that adds a little more color to the conversation. We'll definitely bring that in tomorrow. If I'll try to go and get a hold of that link. But thank you again, Superblink, for bringing that to our attention. I did not see that, but I'm glad that you brought that in. Now, the other thing that I did not see, John, is remember there was Superman Day recently, and we've been kind of finding literally everything we possibly can about Superman Day and talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we missed a pretty key contribution, I guess is the word, to Superman Day, considering he's directed a Superman movie and a couple of, well, I guess not a couple of Justice League movies, but he directed a Superman Batman movie and a Justice League film. Zack Snyder posted on Superman Day a quote from Jor-El, and with the photo of Henry Cavill Superman. That was, I think, our first, back when the Man of Steel was going to come out, that was our first official look, if I remember correctly, at Man of Steel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
And it wasn't even in the movie either.
That shot is in the. It's very short. It's not the exact same shot, but it's very short. It's like when he gets tossed at the bank vault, and you see it for a half a second, and then he kind of flies back out to continue the fight with the Kryptonians. But the quote from Jor-El, I mean, look, you may not like the movie, but you gotta look at some of the writing, and I thought some of the quotes from this movie were amazing. Like the one from Jor-El, and then Russell Crowe in the movie saying it, you'll give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards, of course, in his much better accent than mine. They will race behind you, they will stumble, they will fall, but in time they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. And I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Like literally, if you guys could see it. Woo! Man of Steel is still I think is my favorite Superman movie to date. Again, I have not seen the new Superman movie, so to me, it's still at the very top, but the new Superman might replace that, so we'll have to see. Elite EZ also adding to that story about Clayface, saying that Jeff Snyder added that the Clayface movie rewrite is a page one rewrite, whatever that he says, whatever that means. We can talk about that in a second. But John, what are your thoughts on Zack Snyder's contribution to Superman Day? Of course, Man of Steel still
it's
the
a
highest
nice
grossing
little
Superman
thing.
movie to date.
It's a nice little thing. We'll just keep it at that before this devolves into other shit. We don't want it to do that. So
all right. Well, fair enough. Now, just to quickly kind of go back to what Elite EZ was saying. Now, these are two completely contradicting takes, because if indeed, according to Jeff Snyder, as Elite EZ was mentioning in the chat, if the Clayface rewrite is a page one rewrite, a page one rewrite means you're starting from scratch. You're doing the whole thing over again. So that versus Apocalyptic Horseman saying it's just a director's pass, those are two very different things. One of them is like, okay, you're just tweaking things to kind of match the look or the feel or the kind of the story that you're trying to tell is slightly different from what the original script was. Page one rewrite is you're doing the whole thing over again from the very beginning. That's why they call it page one rewrite. So I don't know, John, what do you believe? Do you think is one or the other? Because Mike Flanagan turned into probably a great script. That's the reason why they greenlit it. Do you think it's likely that they're doing a page one rewrite now that they have a new director?
It would literally not make any fucking sense. Like, it literally wouldn't make sense. Like, the reason they greenlit this thing is because they had the script. Like, that's like, we're not going to do anything until the script is greenlit. And by essentially writing a whole new script, it's like, okay, so that's just bullshit then. So why greenlight the movie? It just doesn't make sense. Plus, you have like Mike Flanagan, one of the greatest horror directors and writers working today. And essentially, it's like, you're just going to throw that away. It's like, it just like, I'm not even like, oh, Mike Flanagan. I love Mike Flanagan. Fuck you guys. Like, it just doesn't make sense logistically. It just doesn't, because it's like, then why greenlight the movie at all? Like, you could have greenlit anything else. You could have fucking greenlit a fucking, I don't know, a Metal Men movie. You didn't have a script, but it's like essentially the same thing. it's just like, would he do a good job? Sure. I haven't seen Drive, but I've heard how fucking amazing it is. All that shit. But it's just like on a logistically, it just doesn't make sense, especially when they want to if this thing is supposed to come out next year, it would be exactly a year and 4 months. And that might not be enough time to do a page one rewrite, do multiple rewrites of that, and then have it by the time they want to start filming. That's, again, none of this makes sense. So I don't think it's a page one rewrite. I think it's just script doctoring, maybe a bit of a rewrite on this thing, that thing, fixing continuity stuff. I don't think it's a page one rewrite because it literally does not make sense.
Yeah, because I mean, when James Gunn and Peter Safran talked about this, they were like, they would have died to have produced this movie when they were making other independent features like the Belko Experiment. So that level of enthusiasm to turn that into a page one rewrite seems, like you said, a little far-fetched. But I mean, it's like they're not bringing in somebody who's known as a script doctor. Like Hossein Amini has done some other high-profile projects. So we'll just have to wait and see if, I mean, Jeff Snyder also doesn't always get things right. And I mentioned, Apocalyptic Horseman is also a scooper. So, and Humberto Gonzalez himself used to be a scooper. I mean, now he's working for the Wrap. Does that mean his contacts are more reliable? It varies, but we'll keep an eye on this. If this develops into something bigger, if James Gunn addresses it, we will bring that to you guys. We'll talk about it. It just, like you said, John, doesn't make a whole lot of sense given the amount of excitement that both Peter Safran and James Gunn had for that movie. Now, the other thing that we missed yesterday, John, was Henry Cavill's birthday. Of course, today's George Clooney's birthday, but yesterday was Henry Cavill's birthday. But you know what? Zack Snyder did not forget. He posted a happy birthday to my friend, amazing actor, and greatest Superman of all time.
So, wait,
hashtag
is this
Man of
all
Steel.
on Twitter, though?
This is on Twitter. Hashtag BS and Zack Snyder Justice League.
I think this might be a fake account, actually. Because
I have no idea if this seems as verified, so I will just.
Because the thing is, he left Twitter to go to Vero or whatever the fuck it was, and I don't think he's.
Well, it was Henry Cavill's birthday yesterday, so he did turn 42. So, yeah. Five Ash saying I grew up with the Christopher Reeves movies, and you know what? Henry Cavill's wearing the Christopher Reeves suit in this photo. This is famously the suit that they tried, one of the many suits they tried on in costume tests. This is, you could tell, before Henry Cavill bulked up for the role too. So, yeah. I mean, Superman Returns was decent. Five Ash liked it. It has its flaws. Caleb saying, give me a dog welder movie, you cowards. Okay. Slither was, Slither is a cult classic for James Gunn. Well, John, happy belated birthday to Henry Cavill. I can't believe you missed this yesterday. We're all over Superman stuff, and I'll take the fault for that. That's on me. I should have found that. Yeah, moving on to the next thing, John. You were mentioning earlier how Mike DeLuca seems to be spoiling all the surprises that James Gunn has got lined up for us over at DC Studios. Well, this is the first one. WB Studios head Mike DeLuca, which again, Warner Brothers Pictures is now separate entity from DC Studios, so it's not like he's James Gunn's boss. In fact, if anything, they're colleagues. They kind of work at the same level. They're in charge of two different studios under the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella. So Mike DeLuca mentioned, though, that apparently a Teen Titans live-action movie is being made at DC Studios, name-dropping it. And the only thing we had heard from James Gunn before was that Ana Nogueira was writing a script. But it seems like the way Mike DeLuca talked about it, this Teen Titans movie is farther along, John. What are your thoughts on this? Especially, again, every time this comes up, we talk about who will be the lineup. Do you have any new thoughts there on who you would like to see be part of the team? Would you want the classic lineup that we had in the TV show? Or do you want a different team? Where do you think they're going to go with this, considering that Mike DeLuca is now confirming what James Gunn and Peter Safran acknowledged earlier this year at the press event?
Yeah, I mean, whatever they do, in fact, decide to do, I think it could be, they could go with a lot of things. They could have an initial Teen Titans team where it was Nightwing and Starfire, the OG team, and then they got to pass it down to the new people. You have Nightwing, and you have Nightwing, and then he passes it on to Damian Wayne's Robin, or and then you have like I don't know, like Wonder Girl passing it on to like Cassie Sandsmark, even though she's never really she's more Young Justice than Teen Titans, but that's beside the point. And then you can like make it, or you can make it just purely Damian Wayne's Teen Titans, or you can make it about an entirely different Teen Titans. Maybe they want to bring in like maybe they have like plans for Nightwing, they have plans for Damian Wayne. Maybe for this one, they'll kind of bring Young Justice and Teen Titans together, where it has like Tim Drake and like a character like Tim Drake, and then like Arrow, Red Arrow, Arrowette, and stuff like that. But then you have characters that are like more typically Teen Titans, like maybe Kid Flash and Aqualad. I don't know, like whatever they decide to do, I think it'll be great. I would like to see like a passing of the torch, but who knows what they can set up properly. I don't know if like they have to keep off Damian Wayne because he's going to be in Brave and the Bold, and that'll mess up development. I think like a passing of the torch could be really good, of like the older team to the newer team, but it's just like the fucking wild card is Damian Wayne. So I don't think they're going to include him. They might like have it like just have like a Tim Drake Teen Titans, which would be awesome as well. So whatever they do, I would be happy with, and I would like to see like not just the typical team, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Robin. I don't think that's bad. I mean, that's what started the whole like fan favorite team. That was the animation. But the thing is, that was in the animated show. That was in the live action show. That's in Teen Titans Go. We've seen that team too much now. There are other heroes we haven't seen as much that I would like to see, like maybe Rocket, maybe Bumblebee, maybe hell, even introduce fucking Bart Allen. I know that would be Blue Beetle. Kind of well, Blue Beetle's not really a teenager, so I don't know they can really call it Teen Titans. So
fair enough. Yeah.
Whatever they decide to do, I think it'll be good, but I like how we're getting a confirmation of this because Teen Titans is great, and I would love to see something a little bit more balanced. I don't want like fucking grim dark Teen Titans like the fucking shitty ass fucking Akiva Goldsman show was, but I don't want to see like Super Kitty like the animated shows. So something in between.
Funny you say that, because according to also Mike DeLuca and Enterprising is like Teen Titans Go, booyah. Well, a Teen Titans Go movie is also in the works at DC Studios. The quote from Mike DeLuca was, "I think James Gunn and Peter Safran are working on a live-action Teen Titans and a new Teen Titans Go."
Well, yeah,
I think,
like that's what I mean.
Too.
Like a different thing, like it's its own thing. Like that's fine. Like live action, keep it not like the shows, not like the or anything like that. Keep it its own thing, like in terms of tone, and then you can have Teen Titans Go. I mean, Teen Titans Go to the movies was like from what I heard, surprisingly really good. So like honestly, do it. Fucking go with that.
I thought the last movie was great. Yeah.
I mean, we finally got Nick Cage as Superman. Like that was great.
By the way, wasn't there also a Teen Titans Go episode with Zack Snyder in it?
Yes.
So there you go. See, it's a full circle moment. Full circle moment right now in DCU Daily. Love it. I'm excited to see again more Titans. Anything, as long as it's not the version that we got on Max. That version of Titans, I'm okay. That's ended. I like Teen Titans, the live action version. The idea of doing that. Teen Titans Go. When it hits really well. It's an enjoyable show. It has a fan base. So the first movie did well. It was like Teen Titans Go to the movies. So I don't know how you would title the second one. Maybe Teen Titans Go to the movies again. Two Titans Go. I don't know. Yeah, like we'll just have to see. Teen Titans Go to Electric Boogaloo. That could be it. LEDZ like Nightwing had a great Codpiece. Yeah, that's an OG joke. Yeah. Did he have a great codpiece in that show? I don't know. I did not watch enough of that show to notice. But moving on to the next thing, John. Mike DeLuca talking about Superman. We're not done with Mike DeLuca spoiling things for DC and James Gunn. He also talked about, of course, the big movie that all of Warner Brothers Discovery is hoping will hit for them, because that's what pretty much DC Studios' future is riding on. That's what Warner Brothers Discovery's stock value is riding on. And Mike DeLuca, while he isn't the one producing the movie, he's works on the same lot and probably runs into James Gunn all the time. So he said, hey, look, we have seen an early cut of Superman, and I don't want to bury the lead. There's a lot of marketing about to roll out ahead of its release, but he really, and by he, of course, he means James Gunn, really understood the assignment, John. Is this a surprise to you that Mike DeLuca is saying this? I imagine what he's referring to here is that he has seen an early cut of Superman, as in he was probably one of the very few people in James Gunn's inner circle that were, part of the initial test screenings that they were doing. Not bringing in, people signing NDAs, the average movie-going audience, but just the people who work on the lot, and even then probably just like studio heads and stuff. So what are your thoughts on the comments from Mike DeLuca? Of course, Mike DeLuca in his own right is a good movie executive. He's one of the reasons why we have Sinners. He greenlit Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17. Of course, Minecraft, whether you like it or not, close to $1 billion. And he did a lot of work alongside Pam Abdi at MGM before they came over to Warner Brothers. So does his opinion carry a long way for you? And what do you think, based on what he has said here, that James Gunn really understood the assignment? I feel like, for me at least, I agree. I feel like he's only confirming this. What do you think?
Yeah, it just like it is hard for me to like believe what he says. It's like, oh, the guy who works at WB is saying that a WB movie is good. Crazy. Meanwhile, Fire is hot. Like, I don't know like what to say about that, because it's like, I want to believe it's good. I want to believe, insert X-File music here, but I don't really totally believe a WB executive. Like, I think there is some genuineness there, but I don't know if there's I don't know. He's biased. I'm just saying that he's biased. The marketing is picking up. My friends have gone to some movies and been like, they've seen the Superman trailer more frequently. I think they're gonna really just shove Superman down our throats for the next like 2.5 months. Like, we're gonna be.
I mean, duh. Like, I would do the same if I was in charge.
Here's the thing. We've gotten very little is the problem. Like, we've gotten some stuff. Like, I've said that the marketing has been good.
Are you sure about that? The amount of stuff that we bring in, there's like always like a million different merchandise things and collaborations.
No, I know. Here's the thing. Like, I mean, like, in terms of like the theater thing, like we have like the theater experience, I guess, because like not seeing the trailer in front of like at least WB movies kind of hurts. Like, I understand like not putting it in front of like Sinners, like that's obvious. That's a horror movie. Don't put it in front of that. That's not your audience. But I've seen like, maybe put it in front of Day the Earth Blew Up, maybe Mickey 17. That's kind of a comedy, so like that could work. It's just like I feel like they could have been putting this in front of more movies, and like just instead of like now we're getting stuff. So there's that. But I think they have been doing some good marketing. I'm not going to act like it's totally like, oh, it sucks, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. I think, could they have done a little bit more? Yes, but I think now we are starting to really get stuff.
Yeah. I would say the marketing has been a bit uneven at some points. I don't think they quite carried the momentum from the trailer in December all the way to when they released the stuff around CinemaCon. There was a bit of a dip, so definitely that gap, I think, hurt the momentum it was building. But you can't blame them. We were still like a good 6 months away from the movie coming out. Like, you don't want to, put all your money on stuff that early. You want to wait till you can build up a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, Elite Easy and Five Ash kind of going at it in the chat. They're talking about the marketing, how they feel about things, whether it's picking up, or Five Ash is like a lot of the average audience audiences don't know about it. But I mean, I would argue the opposite. The first trailer broke records, so you can't do that unless every day people who go to the movies are also watching the trailer multiple times. It's not just like a bunch of us who really nerd out over this stuff are watching the trailer 50 times. I'm sure that helped, but it can't get you to like 250 million views. I mean, yeah, people watching the trailer online, it doesn't mean everything, but it also doesn't mean nothing, Five Ash. I think what it means is there's a lot of interest. We've talked about this before, like the social awareness of movies measured through social media and stuff, in part, does have an effect on box office, at least from a predictive standpoint. But look, at the end of the day, the movie's gonna have to stand on its own two legs and do its own thing. You can't just expect the marketing to sell this movie. The marketing is to get you in the door on day one. And if the opening weekend is great, that will mean the marketing has been great. If opening weekend is not so good, then the movie has an even more of an uphill battle, because it's going to need to make a lot of its money in the first 2 weeks, and then Fantastic Four comes out. So hopefully the movie opens up high, has good word of mouth like Sinners did, and then maybe if it starts off to over 100 million, maybe then it can continue to make that kind of money, and then that will hopefully help it get pretty far. Is it going to be a $1 billion movie? I'm not quite convinced right now. I think when we all made our predictions, a lot of us said it wasn't going to be a $1 billion movie. At some point in the past few months, I've kind of thought maybe it's a $1 billion movie, but it's all about recency bias. Oh, I watched a new trailer, I'm so excited. I'm sure when the second trailer drops, a lot more of us will be like, this is going to be a $1 billion movie. Unless the trailer is really terrible, then we're like, oh God, no, this thing is not going to make $1 billion. So, but John, it's like 2 months away at this point, 2 months and some change. So I'm sure we're going to get some long-term tracking for it soon, and then that will give us a better idea what the opening numbers might be looking like. By the way, we have Steven joining in the chat, a little bit late, Steven, to Be Kind Rewind. Got a ton of other stuff for you to check out that we talked about earlier. Liz is not on the show today. In fact, Liz is kind of like tied up this week with a lot of other work, like her day job. She's got a few errands to run, so she'll be back with us next week. So we did MCU Weekly today, but we didn't have Liz on the show, unfortunately. But she says hello, and of course, she's gonna check in with us next week. So be patient with us. Unfortunately, you're stuck with the dudes for a couple of more days. And Five Ash, do definitely check out Sinners. He's saying that he's gonna check it out in matinee next week. Man, it's an amazing movie. If you can, watch it in IMAX. If you can't, that's okay. Sinners is going to be worth your time and money and effort that you spend in the movie theater.
Although with Five Ash, he probably is going to think it sucks because he has shitty taste. So
come on, that's not fair. Five Ash does like some things. He loves Man of Steel, which I'm like,
yeah,
in my
exactly.
book, that's a
shitty
good thing.
taste.
Oh, come on. I don't think so. But anyway, let's see again. That all depends on where we land on the spectrum. So Elite Easy is like, no doxing Liz. Yeah, Liz is not grading papers, but that could be your headcanon, Elite Easy. We'll go with that. Why not? All right, so we have only a few minutes left on the show, but we have a couple of more things to talk about. So before we finish up, in other Superman news, John, Nicholas Hoult was recently asked about what was your favorite moment filming Superman, and he said it was basically seeing David Cornsweet in the Superman suit for the first time. And this is what Nicholas Hoult said. I was in awe of him. As soon as I saw him in the suit, I was transported back to my childhood. He is just Superman. And this is not the first time we've seen people reacting like this, right? Like we talk about how Tom Hardy mentions like, oh yeah, Christian Bale, I can take him on. Like, yeah, and then he walks on the set and sees Christian Bale walking around in the Batman suit, is like, that's Batman. I'm like, oh shit, like, this might be a little more difficult than I thought it would be. So, and we've seen this before, like, from other actors talking about the experiences, and it looks like Nicholas Hoult was just as starstruck as any of us would be seeing David Cornsweet walking around in Superman shape, wearing the Superman suit with the Superman curl and the crest. What are your thoughts, Sean? Would you be reacting the same way that he did?
Probably. Most likely. I mean, I like just seeing this. I mean, it's one thing seeing it on a screen, but seeing it in real life is like, whoa, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, we always talk about this, right? Like, he is very unassuming. David Cornsweet is. He blends into the background in any cast photo that we have seen, but the man is huge. Like, he's tall, he's big, he's wide. And when he's packing like that Superman muscle, then yeah, you walk up to him and he's got the suit on with the cape and everything. Yeah, it's probably a sight to behold, and I'm sure, of course, even for a man of Nicholas Holt's stature and experience, it was quite the experience. His favorite moment while they were filming Superman. I'm not surprised by that at all. Five Ash, by the way, defending his takes, John, saying just because I don't like a lot of disposable superhero crap that you like doesn't mean I have shitty taste. And you know what? Fair enough, Five Ash. To each their own. It's art, and art is subjective, so it hits all of us differently. So you might love something and I might hate it, or vice versa, or same for John. So, and that's completely okay. We're all here because we all, like different things, and we're just like to talk about them. That's what this community is all about. Elite Easy was saying Frank Grillo was swooning. Hugh Jackman walking on set in the yellow spandex vibes. Yep, I'm sure. Deadpool kind of says it in the movie too. So there we go. Well, the other thing that I wanted to quickly mention, this I think is the last story of the day. A little bit more of a mention from the world of the NBA. Jason Tatum for the Boston Celtics. Now, this is from yesterday. I came across it like towards the end of the night, so I figured I'd bring it in. He was wearing a custom pair of Tatum threes for the game 1 of the NBA playoffs, and of course, very Superman branded. He's got the blue colors, the Superman logos everywhere. Unfortunately, as a fan of the Boston Celtics, I'm sad to report that they lost to the Knicks, which if you go off the color scheme of these shoes, they look like shoes that the Knicks would wear, considering the blues and the oranges and the reds. But, maybe that's why they lost. Jason Tatum was wearing shoes for the wrong team. But John, what are your thoughts about this? Maybe you can get your hands on a couple of Tatum threes with the Superman colorway.
I mean, would it be cool? Sure. But that shit probably, like, they ever made those, like actually made them, that shit would be like fucking like $1 million per shoe. Like, it would be the most expensive thing ever. Like,
yeah,
no way. I mean, would it be great? Sure, but never happening.
Five Ash, I should say, is these are clown shoes. I wouldn't be caught dead wearing any of these. Whereas Elite Easy saying these are cute. I don't even like basketball shoes, but he likes those. So there you go. Again, different opinions, right? It's like Five Ash would never be wearing these. He wouldn't be caught dead in one of those. But Elite Easy, on the other hand, might just go and get himself a pair. So yeah, hey, maybe the next game, in game 2 tomorrow, the Celtics will have better luck. Maybe Tatum threes will help Jason Tatum as opposed to not. Unless you're a Knicks fan, and in which case you're just hoping for the repeat of game 1 in Boston. But anyway, the Enterprising saying, rightfully so, the sneakers would be a great collection item. Okay, Five Ash, yeah, he's saying he should play basketball in his Superman underoos. You know what?
I bet he does. I bet he was wearing the Superman underwear right there and then.
Yeah, we can't tell. I mean, we don't have extra vision. We're not Superman. Like, I'm sure Superman could find out, right? Ironically enough. I actually, you know what? I got it. Speaking of which, I gotta go get my hands on one of those Superman boxer briefs that we talked about the other day. that was a fun show. But hey, you know what? That brings us to a close on today's episode. I mean, a ton of DC stuff. We got Tier List Tuesdays. We already have ideas for Tier List Tuesdays for next week. So guys, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know in the live chat what you think about all the Superman news, the Clayface rewrite. What about the Lanterns getting a new cinematographer on board? Of course, we talked about Teen Titans Go, both versions of the team getting new movies, and Mike DeLuca confirming that the Superman screenings look great. James Gunn really understood the assignment. Of course, we're back tomorrow, so do stick around. If you're new, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. And of course, if you haven't already, please do hit the like button on your way out. We appreciate it. And if you want to have a topic for us to talk about, drop that in the comments down below. Or if you want to give us ideas for Tier List Tuesdays, drop that in the comments down below. This Friday, we'll be doing Fancast Fridays again. It could be DC related. It doesn't have to be. We've loved your ideas. We'll take them into consideration, and we'll do a Q&A session. So for all of that, in the comments down below, let us know what you would like for us to talk about. Which fan casting would you like for us to do? John, anything else you'd like to add to that?
Have a good day.
Awesome. And you know what? On that note, guys, we'll see you next time on another episode of DCU Daily.